landlord?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what kind of property is this?
It's a 2-lot place with a extra building on the other lot, which is the place that Mike is inhabiting.
And your last name, sir?
Tolson.
Mr. Tolson, does Mr. Morrison ever do any work for you?
He does from time to time.
Okay, what kind of work does Mr. Morrison do for you?
He helps kind of take care of the property and
Okay, so he does maintain the property.
From time to time, yes.
Well, from time to time, you pay him on an ad hoc basis. You'll call and say, would you please clean up the premises? Or
No,
does he do it regularly? Do you pay him a monthly salary? Come on, guys. If you're getting the idea that I'm not crazy about this case, you're right. Do you understand?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Good, I'm very glad you understand.
To be perfectly honest...
I don't want you to be anything but perfectly honest, sir. I don't want you to be dishonest. That would be a very dumb thing for you to do.
The bolt cover has very little to do with this. There's been interactions between the two.
I don't care.
Okay, then
Let
to
me
answer your question...
explain something to you. This is the beginning of my day. I don't plan on starting the beginning of my day with nonsense. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then let's get this case moving.
Okay.
Mr. Shepard says that Mr. Morrison, on a date certain, which was what date?
It was around August 10th.
Around, because you don't know exactly. For some strange reason, disposed of your boat cover. Mr. Morrison says that he maintained the property, which you acknowledge, and that he says this was a torn-up, old, moldy thing, but it was on Mr. Shepard's premises.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Correct? And he says that he disposed of it because you asked him to clean up the property. Did you ask him to clean up the property on or about August 10th?
That's a very misleading question. I never asked him to clean up the property.
Great. Now, Mr. Morrison, then I come back to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
You actually were on the plaintiff's property because that's where the tarp, let's call it a tarp/cover, was located.
That's correct.
Right. Did you, prior to disposing of the cover, did you ask Mr. Shepard whether this was his and did he want it disposed of? The answer is either yes or no.
Can you repeat the question?
Very easy. I'll try to simplify it. On or about August 10th, did you ask Mr. Shepard that this item that was on his property was something he didn't want to keep and he wanted it disposed of?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
Okay. Well then, Mr. Morrison, this is a very easy case. You cannot go on someone else's property who is renting the property and dispose of that property without asking them. The fact that, put your hand down, the fact that you claim that the witness asked you to dispose of it does not doesn't contradict that. Because I assume Mr. Shepard is a paying tenant, which means he has exclusive occupancy. Get out. Out. What you didn't understand. Out. Perfect. Had to go that way. Now, you have to ask before you go on somebody's property and dispose of anything.
I understand.
Anything, a loaf of bread, a weed, anything. Because, you know, there's an old expression, one man's trash is another man's treasure.